All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another WNBA off-season video. In this video, we're going to be going over my dream off-seasons for some teams. I have 6 teams in total. You get 3 today, 3 another day. We're going to be talking about dream free agent signings, dream just rosters as a whole. There is going to be some expansion draft stuff that I need to talk about. There is some contract stuff that we need to talk about, and there are some previous relationships that are going to factor into a lot of these acquisitions for these teams. So if you like what I have to say, like the video. If you have your own opinions, comment it down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. The other thing I do want to mention here right at the top, we do not know the market for some of these players, for almost all of these players. The market hasn't been set yet. We haven't had the expansion draft yet. We haven't free agency hasn't officially opened up yet. So this is again my way too early dream free agency for some teams. I have it divided up into different categories. I have obviously players that will get the super max, players that will get the max, players that will get what I like to call fair market value. So whatever the market dictates their value is what I think they will get. They are worth that fair market. The last season play has earned them a fair market value around the league. So when I say fair market value, that's what I mean. You're going to pay them what almost every other team would pay them. There's going to be players, there are some rookies and some other players that are already on deals that have a year remaining, 2 years remaining, 3 years remaining on their deal from the previous CBA and their current, what would be after they finish it, their previous contract. And then I do have some players that I think should be under market value. Like maybe you try to underpay them, maybe you try to underpay them, but with the promise of, hey, we're going to be competitive, you're going to have a bigger role, some stuff like that. So not discrediting their skill set or what they've done, but it's selling them on something else other than getting paid. But getting paid is what a lot of these players want. So I did put a lot of work into this. I have a whole basically spreadsheet of players. There are 12 players to a roster now. So I do have about 8 we'll call them real players on a roster, and then to fill out the roster, I did take into consideration a draft pick or two, a developmental player or two that they will probably take on to fill out their roster. So not all 12 roster spots are going to be names you know. There's probably going to be about 7 or 8 that you know, and then the others I've just put developmental player slash draft player. That will probably be TBD, to be determined later this month. Yeah, later next month. So with that all being said, I do want to work my way from the West Coast to the East Coast, going around the country. But going out of that theme, though, I do want to start with the defending champs, the Las Vegas Aces. My Aces. Let's go Aces. Um, if you've been on WNBA Twitter, if you've been on around the WNBA sphere. There's been a lot of stuff about the Las Vegas Aces going on, primarily off the court stuff, but the on the court stuff, one of the bigger things that I think got swept under the rug because of the drama with the off the court stuff with some of the players, is that Coach Noelle Henry is going to join the Las Vegas Aces as an assistant coach under Becky Hammon, which is amazing. I liked her in Unrivaled. I like her energy. I like what she brings. This is we'll call it a friend of Chelsea Gray. They were player and coach in Unrivaled. So Noelle coming to Las Vegas is a no-brainer. This indicates to me, though, however, that they're going to pay Chelsea Gray, and we'll get to Chelsea Gray in a second. Um, but let's talk about, to me, what is the big three, the big four players that you need to retain or keep or bring in, for that matter. So the first one, obviously, Asia Wilson. It's been confirmed that she will get the 4-year supermax, no questions asked, whatever she wants, however much they can within the collective bargaining agreement give her, she will get. I have no problems with that whatsoever. She deserves it. I said it in another video when we talked about, I think it was the WNBA, where I was like, she should just get whatever she wants. If I'm the owner, if I'm Mark Davis, I give her whatever she wants and then some. She wants a private jet, you give her a private jet. She wants a penthouse at the most expensive hotel in Las Vegas, you get it. You get her whatever she wants. Um, there have been some unfound rumors and things that she's pregnant. I don't believe that. If I'm going through this thought process, this thought experiment with the fact that Asia is healthy and everybody's healthy and Asia's not pregnant and she will play next season as the reigning champ, reigning MVP, reigning defensive player of the year, that she will be back 100%. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So she gets a 4-year max. And also, by the way, I want to mention this also. Since we don't have the money, like we don't know the market, we don't know the money, all we know is what max and super maxes are. We don't know what everybody else is going to get in between, like the fine numbers. I've tried to make it as realistic as possible, so I'm not building a super team for every team. By the way, I'm trying to be somewhat realistic, but again, this is the dream off season, so there you go. The next one, Chelsea Gray. This is a tough one, man. She's getting a bit older. I've been very questionable about her age and her play, and her regular seasons aren't always the best. Sometimes she struggles. Sometimes she looks her age. Other times in the playoffs, she looks like she's 5 years younger. She looks like she's 30 again, and she plays her butt off. And she's a really good floor general. Um, is aware of the moment, knows the moment, and I've grown to respect her. I personally have my feelings about keeping an aging point guard on the team because it could go sour at any moment. But I think what she's done for this organization and what she's done for Asia as a superstar, and Chelsea Gray at some point I think is still a star player and all WNBA player. Um, she deserves to get some money. She's been in the league a long time, but I hope it's under the max, and I hope that the the franchise is smart enough to say, "Hey, let's front load this deal. Let's front load this contract. It's a 4-year deal. Let's front load it." So 4 years, they'll say we'll put the most amount of money we can in the first 2 years, and then the last 2 years it will descend instead of ascending like most contracts do. It will descend, um, because if it does start to go, south, it could go south at any moment when you're an aging point guard. Um, you have the ability to move off of her with a smaller ish contract, say a 2 year whatever $1,000 contract is much better than an ascending contract when she's getting worse. I'd rather trade her when she's making less money and she's worse versus having this huge contract on a player that is not getting any better. Um, but if you have to hit a button and say, "Hey, this is a number that we can't go above, and this is a number you don't want to go below," you do have to let her walk. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's a very rare circumstance. Something would have to go completely wrong in the negotiations, but at the end of the day, you are going to have to make a sacrifice at some point, under this new era of the WNBA where these players want to get paid. They've been saying this for years upon years. They want to get paid. Some of these players do have delusions about getting paid, which is fine. If you want to make $1 million for the first time in your career, you can go make $1 million. Are you going to be on a good team? I don't know if you're going to be on a good team if you want $1 million and you're just a role player. That's for another day, though. For Chelsea Gray, front load the deal, 4 years, max contract, and then if there's a number she doesn't want to go below and there's a number you don't want to go above and you can't meet somewhere, you gotta let her walk. But I don't think that'll happen. The next one here, Jackie Young, Jackie, J Yo. I've had a lot of feelings about Jackie Young as well, but I think last year she really proved she grew up. She found her footing. She's been really, I don't want to say consistent, but consistently good at the things that Coach Becky Hammond needs from a guard. She's a really great rebounder for her size. She's very athletic. Um, she's very smart with the basketball. She makes a lot of smart plays. She's got the chance to learn from Chelsea Gray. She's got the chance to play with Kelsey Plum in a previous lifetime. And she's gained that experience. She's played it on Unrivaled. She's been on Team USA. They were just in the World Cup qualifier. She played well. She has a lot of experience on her belt now, and I think she is deserving of a max. And this is another player I'll say here that if I have to pick between Chelsea Gray and Jackie Young, and I'm thinking about the future, not just the now, but the future, I'm taking Jackie Young. And I know that might be a hot take for some of you, but I would take Jackie Young. Just because of the age difference, the way she's ascending, like she has ascended and will keep ascending. Chelsea Gray is where she's at. And she might be in her late prime or her second prime, but like that's not gonna last forever. Like if I have to think about the next 5 years and I had to bet on who would have a better career the next 5 years, it'd probably be Jackie Young, and I don't think that's a hot take at all. But I would give Chelsea Gray what I would give Jackie Young whatever she wants. Um, a max. I would like her to take a bit of a pay cut. I would try to get her as near the max as possible, like as physically possible, and then like cut like maybe like 100,000 off, 50,000 off, so we can just stay under that, and we don't have three players on the max, two players on a max, and three players on a super max. That is the number jumbling you have to do in this new era. Um, and instead of front loading it like you did with Chelsea Gray, you would backload it. So as Chelsea Gray's contract goes down, Jackie Young's contract goes up. It ascends, not descends, and another 4 year deal. So you lock in those players for 4 years, and those are the ones that are confirmed to be on this team next year. Next to Elisa Nye, who is still on a contract from her last her rookie deal. So there's four players on the team right now: A'ja Wilson, Chelsea Gray, um, Jackie Young, and Aaliyah Nye. So three players, well, four players actually. So four players. Now here is where we're gonna get into some dream offseason signings. I do have two more players on this team that will be returning, that are on this roster, but that's with a lot of asterisks and caveats. We'll get to that. My next one. This is no surprise if you've been on WNBA Twitter, or Reddit, or any form of WNBA space. Um, the next player I want to bring onto this Las Vegas Aces team is DiJonai Carrington. DiJonai and Jackie are dating. I have my feelings about this in general, like players dating or even teammates dating. Um, it gets a little messy. There are some things you don't, as a rule for anybody. I think you shouldn't date where you work. Work and your personal life should be separate, because when the two meet, sometimes it gets a little. But if this is the case and they're gonna stay together, um, I'm acting like it's gonna end in a month. It might end in a month, but if they're still together when the season starts and these negotiations start, I asked Jackie Young. I said both of them. I said, "Hey, do you want to play together?" That's the first question you ask, and the second question you ask is, if I well, I'll use the term, if I allow you guys to play together, or is it a deal breaker for Jackie? What do you want? And if I can get fair market value for DiJonai, who is a really high level defender, who is coming off I can pull up her numbers right now, who is coming off a bit of an injured season, not her best season. She did end up on the championship hopeful Minnesota Lynx. Um, she had a much better year her previous year in Dallas in 2020. Oh, her first half of the season in 2025 in Dallas. Um, 10 points a game, one steal, let's see, three rebounds, let's see. Oh, three defensive, two offensive rebounds for a total of five rebounds a game. Um, 35% from field goal, 26% from three. Not her best 3 point shooting year. Her other years here, in all the way from 2022 to 2024, she was a around 30% 3 point shooter. She's very hit or miss, but when she's on, and she takes only like two a game. But she's a really good defender. She has a bunch of WNBA experience. Was that 6 years of WNBA experience? Um, she'd be somebody I would be. It would be amazing to bring her in. Have a real point of attack defender, so Jackie doesn't have to do it. So Chelsea Gray doesn't have to do it. They can save their strength and everything. And the main thing I'm trying to do with this roster is trying to build a roster so what happened last year for the Aces doesn't happen this year. Last year, it was a terrible season for them. It almost looked like they were going to miss the playoffs. I came on here and said they should miss the playoffs. I said that. That was something I said, and then they won the championship. So I'm a pessimistic Aces fan at times. But You need to bring in defenders, bring in people that can help Asia, take the load off Asia, Jackie, Chelsea Gray, and Dejanay can do that at least defensively. Offensively, when she's on, she's gonna be the if you're playing with Jackie, Chelsea, and Asia, you're gonna be the most wide open you've ever been in your career. So I would love Dejanay to come to Las Vegas. Obviously, dating Jackie Young. It's if it goes sideways, it's gonna go sideways. But I'd rather take the gamble. For me personally, I would give her a 3 year deal with a player option on the third year. So if she wants to get out by the third year, she can. Or if something with her and Jackie happens, she can get out. She doesn't have to be here for the full 3 years. It'd be a 2 year contract, and I would try to match any other offer that she gets. If it's a competitive price and I can pay the price, I don't want to say I would overpay because that's not in my notes, and I don't think I would do that. But I would get close to overpaying for Dejanay because I think Dejanay would be a very good acquisition to this team that hasn't had a lot of really good wing point of attack defenders that aren't your primary scorers on the other side of the floor. And the other player I want to bring in here, who I think would be absolutely incredible for this team, spaces the floor. They haven't had a big like this in a long time since like Liz Cambridge, who that didn't work out either. We won't talk about that. We don't talk about those seasons as Aces fans. Um, is Stevenson Azora? I'll just call her Stevens. Azora Stevens. Yeah, Azora Stevens. Um, I've really liked her. For the past 2 years, she's been in LA. Let's see. Is she on the? No, she's not on the graphic in front of you. But um, Dejanay, number 3 in the Lynx jersey, by the way. Um, Stevens is a true floor spacing big, and I know would help Asia out tremendously. My biggest pet peeve about this Aces team last year was Asia having to play the top, play the five, play the center position all the freaking time. It drove me insane because as good as Asia is, and she can play whatever freaking position she wants, I would rather her not be banging down low, not having to guard the other opposing big, conserving her strength, conserving her gifts for big moments, not having just to guard because this league is going to get better and better with centers. Um, Stevens isn't a huge big stopper. She's not like this all defensive player of the year caliber defender, but she's sturdy enough on defense. She takes the load off Asia. She stretches the floor to the 3 point line. Asia stretches it to about the mid range, and that's where her range stops, and she's been dominant there. But if you can have a 3 level threat in the front court with Asia and Stevens, it'd be amazing. I would slightly overpay for her for sure. I I would tell her you're probably going to be the starting center, depending on how the rest of the roster shakes out. And again, this is all hypothetical. This is a dream off season. If this was the roster, I would say you are the starting center, but I don't know what the other positions are going to look like. So you be the starting center. You get a 4 year deal, and I would put a team option on the fourth year, with room to negotiate because by then maybe Chelsea Girl will be retired and maybe I can give you a bit more money on that on the back end of your time here in Las Vegas. Let's talk about some players that are going to come back. I brought them back simply just to fill out the roster here. Um, Megan Gustafson, coming off a really good World Cup qualifier tournament. Um, I would try to get her under slightly market value, get her to return to a familiar place um, on a 2 year deal, a 1+1. So uh, team option on the second year. So you get 1 year. If we want to bring you back for the second year, we bring you back. You've been in the system for so long already. Why not just bring you back? You were fine. I have my issues with Megan. I think she's a bit overrated, and I don't know why she can't do what she does in like for Team Spain in a Las Vegas Aces jersey. But it's neither here nor there. She knows the system, and it's not too much. There's gonna be so much change on this roster, so much overturn, that we're gonna have to bring back some familiar faces just to keep the continuity there. And then another player I want to bring back um, is Kia Stokes, um, who you're gonna play. I'll tell her straight up, you're gonna play the same role you've been playing for the last 2 years. You're not gonna play that much. You're gonna play spot backup center minutes when Asia or um, Stevenson's in foul trouble. You get a 2 year deal, no strings attached. You get a guaranteed contract for 2 years. And I hope you could make it a team friendly deal, if that would be so gracious of you, Kia Stokes. Moving back to players I want to bring back, I want to bring to this team. Another one I want to bring in is Rebecca Allen. I would offer her fair market value. This team needs more shooting. She's a standstill shooter. Um, been in the league a long time, and just bring us some shooting. This team hasn't really had a lot of standstill shooters. Chelsea Gray has to create those shots. Jackie Young has to create those shots. And when they get the ball passed to them, they like to feel the ball a little bit. They like to dribble a little bit. Not saying they can't shoot they can't sit in the corner and shoot a three, but they like to feel the ball, and I understand that. So we're gonna bring somebody in who doesn't have to feel the ball, who's a catch and shoot threat, opens up the floor, a little bit different than Dejanay, who you could start Rebecca Allen some nights if Dejanay's out, um, and you would still have that floor spacing that you need. And it'd be a great acquisition, I think, and it's just one um, on the cheaper side. I hope you get a fair market value, um, and she would get a 2 year deal, if I was the GM. And then the last one here, I want to bring in um, a player that I really liked in a rival, Ezzy Magmagor, Ezzy. Um, I would offer a fair market value, and she would be a big part of the rotation. 2 year deal, no strings attached. So you just get paid for 2 years. You get to come to Las Vegas. She's like a center forward combo. Basically, she would play the Asian minutes when Asian isn't out there. She would get to play with Megan Gustafson off the bench, Rebecca Allen, Kia Stokes, Elisa Nye. Um, and she would get some wide open shots. She would get some good rolls to the basket with Chelsea Gray. Get some good rolls to the basket with Jackie Young, and I could see her playing with Asia a little bit at times. And again, this is another signing to help Asia not have to guard the other fives. Ezzy can guard the other fives, and Asia doesn't have to spend the whole game leaning on the other team's best player. She can just sit in the corner, rest a little bit, and not have to work her body through defensively all season. All was it 44 games now, because it's going to be a long season. So those are all the players. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is 10 players that I've mentioned. And then the last two roster spots I have here are for developmental slash draft players. The Las Vegas Aces do have one draft pick this year. It is the where is it? I saw it's the 29th pick in the second round. I think we're still getting punished from that Jerica Hamby thing. So we do not have a lot of high draft picks anymore. But we got the 29th pick. So who knows if we use that pick? I think that you might, maybe, I don't know, maybe you trade it, maybe just get off it. I don't know. But there are two extra roster spots for a developmental player, a cheap player that's looking to develop. They can come to Las Vegas, or uh, get a draft player. Yeah, yeah, that's it. The whole left side is green. Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, um, Asia Wilson, Dejanay top left. As we move to the next team. Now the next team isn't going to have a lot of movement. Isn't going to have a lot of movement because they have so many players that are returning that are under contract. Um, Next team I'm talking about is the Los Angeles Sparks, bottom right of your screen, in the purple and in the white jerseys. Number 22, number 10, those players. If you don't know, now you know. The players that are still in the contract, just to get it right out of the way, because there are a lot of them. Rickea Jackson still under contract. Cam Brink still under contract. Um, Sarah Ashley Barker still under contract. Um, before actually wait, because I wanted to do this before we move on to the Sparks. I just wanted to make a quick note here that the Aces do have two players under restricted free agency: Nalissa Smith and Kristen Bell. I would not bring both of them back. They can walk. I don't care. Get out. I'm trying to revamp this roster. Back to the Sparks though. As I will pull up the Sparks here so I can look at their cap sheet right now. They have all those players still under contract. A majority of them are under contract. Rickea, Cam Brink, um, Sarah Ashley Barker are under contract at least till 2027. So they don't get the opportunity to get on new contract till 2027 or even 2028. So that opens up a lot of wiggle room. They're still on these cheap deals that you can maneuver and wiggle around, and there's the opportunity to bring in somebody big and somebody competent, somebody that will help you compete. Because last year I think was a bit underwhelming. They had some positive steps in the right direction. I was really more hopeful that they would take a big step. They didn't end up taking that step, but all these players coming off a great unrivaled season: Kelsey Plum, Ray Burrell, Rickea Jackson, and Cam Brink, all coming off great unrivaled seasons. Um, I'd be very hopeful that they will take a step in the right direction. And if I'm the GM, I want to help them take that step in the right direction and bring in somebody who's competent. We'll get to that in a minute. Um, Speaking about Ray Burrell is a restricted free agent. I would match almost anything for Ray Burrell. Ray Burrell is such an athletic player, has so much upside. I would try to match whatever she gets. If it does become a bit too rich, you are going to have to let her walk, and that's the reality of these situations sometimes. But if nobody wants to offer her an offer sheet, and you can keep her for pennies on the dollar, or at least something fair market value, I would do that because I think she's going to be an integral part of this team going forward. So that makes one, two, three, four players on the team right now. We'll move to the bigger fish, which would be Kelsey Plum, who indeed is super max eligible. And this is a point of some contention. Do you offer Kelsey Plum the super max? Is she worthy of the super max? Um, is it worth? Has Kelsey Plum peaked? Is the real question. And if you give her the super max, is this version of Kelsey Plum the best she will be? I, I think somewhere around there, yes, this is the best she's going to be. I'm very biased towards Kelsey Plum. She's the person that got me into the WNBA all those years ago when she was a rookie. So I'm sort of biased. I think she's worth it. I I think the team will be more competitive, and the team will start to show more winning tendencies with her as the lead guard. Um, you give her the supermax, you give her the 4-year deal. By the time you're really paying this, it will be the end of the deal. It'll be 2028. Rickea Jackson will be up for a contract. Cameron Brink will be up for a contract. And if you don't want Kelsey Plum, guess what? It'll be the last year with the Supermax. You can trade her if you really don't want her anymore. You can trade her. I think that by the numbers, it works out. You know, by these numbers, you'll be near the end of the deal. It will work out. It's gonna be tight for like a year or so, where the roster is gonna be what's gonna be, and you might be mediocre, but you'll be able to get off the contract. Um, and if you just don't like where Kelsey Plum is by that year, then you're fine. Is it a bit of an overpay right now? Sure. Would you? No offense, when I think Supermax, as big of a Kelsey Plum fan as I am, I don't think Kelsey Plum. I think she's a max player, and it's the time she's put in the league, the time that she's been with a franchise. Um, by franchise, I mean she was signed and traded to the Sparks, so I think they still have her bird rights. So she's essentially has enough service with the team technically under those numbers. She has enough years of service with that team, so she can get the supermax. That's how it works. Um, I don't think she's worth it. Like, I to me, a supermax player is somebody that raises your floor and your ceiling. I think Kelsey Plum raises your floor. She raises it a lot. You need another player to raise your ceiling, and we're gonna get to that in a second. But moving on to another player on this roster that's due for a new contract, Derica Hamby. I have a lot of thoughts on Derica. She spent a lot of time as a San Antonio Star, as a Las Vegas Ace. I got my chance to watch her a lot, and man, do I have moments where I remember like, oh my God, this why is she playing right now? And she's gotten better. I will admit she's gotten better the last couple years. She's been an all star. She went to the Sparks when they were bad, so it's not like she hopped on the train when they were good. They were really bad. When I was looking for some pictures for this graphic in front of you, I saw some pictures of Derica with some players, and I was like, oh my God, none of these players are in the league anymore. These players are out of the league. They're done. But I would offer Darica a 3-year deal, no strings attached. You get 3 years, you get paid for 3 years, you get to be on the team for 3 years, stay in LA. But with this warning, do not overpay for her. Do not. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. I'm telling you right now, don't do it. You have Cam Brink, you have Rickea Jackson. Both have a higher ceiling than Darica. At their best, Cam Brink and Rickea Jackson will be better than Darica Hamby. At their peak. At the peak of their powers, when they're in their prime, they will be better. If I have to lose, if Hamby doesn't like the money or the years, guess what? You can walk. It's fine. I'm not losing sleep over losing her. Even though she's a great borderline all WNBA talent, I'm fine with losing her. I already have to pay Kelsey Plum. If I have to pay Kelsey Plum, I can't pay both of you. I can't in good conscience do that. Um, so that makes, if she does return, that makes was a one, two, three, four, five, six players on the team already. Um, Moving on to some players, I think they should try to get. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up this time instead of you giving the big name right at the top here. One name I think they should look at is Jessica Shepard. Get her for fair market value as a backup big to Cam Brink. Play a little bit with Cam Brink, perhaps, Twin Tower sort of situations. 2-year deal, no strings attached, and get another big because Cam Brink's a little. I don't want to say she's made of glass because that's unfair. She's sort of like she's dainty. She's like she plays with a lot of intensity and a lot of like power, but like she was playing almost all through Unrivaled with like a broken nose. Like she's falling on the floor. She's like holding like every part of her body. Like I have to make sure I can have somebody who could help alleviate some of that, but somebody also who could maybe play some starting center if Cam Brink goes out for like a game or two, um, and all that stuff. Congrats to her. She's getting married, Cam Brink. So congrats to her. Another player I think the Sparks should look at is Monique Billings, coming off a really good unrivaled season. Monique Billings plays I don't want to say very similarly, but plays a similar position to um, Rickea Jackson, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think trying to duplicate what you have and trying to keep the same play style with two players isn't a bad thing, especially at the forward position where you sub in, sub out. The play style doesn't have to change that much. Um, Monique Billings a bit more of a ball handler. Did not have a great World Cup qualifier. A couple games, people were kind of clowning her for that. I still think she's a really good player. Um, Gives this team some more vet leadership, some different looks in the rotation. You can run her out the small forward, power forward. I'm not saying you could run her at center, but in a pinch, you could probably run her at center, small ball center. Um, and I'd give her a 3-year deal, no strings attached. Let's look up where. Let's look up her numbers. I did not have her numbers pulled up. I apologize. Let's see. Mo Billings. Let's see here. Mo Billings. Monique Billings. Yes. Okay. Coming off a really good year. She has a lot. Damn, she has a lot of. So I will admit, some of these players, they look really good for their age. I look at some of these players when I was trying to do this video, and I was like, they've been in the league how long? She's 30. What? It was nuts. She's been in the league for was 6, 7, 8, 9, almost 10 years. Next year will be her 10th year. Congratulations on 10 years. Wow. Coming off one of her better years as a pro. 7 points a game, 4 rebounds a game. Um, Very low on turnovers. Her turnovers are down. They were up to almost two a game. They're up to two a game. They're back down, which is good. Um, does not take a lot of threes. Works mostly in the mid range and down low. Field goal percentage, 47%, and 2 point percentage, 53%. So something a little different there. Subsidize some of that Kelsey Plum stuff that she does in the mid range as well. Um, have a big that can still work the paint when Cam Brink is out there. If she wants to stretch her game a little bit more at the 3 point line, you still have a threat down there for a pick and roll action, for a dive action, for back cuts and all that stuff. So Monique Billings would be a really good signing for the Sparks team. Now, for the big name, for the big one that I know you see on your screen. I know you see it. You've been looking at this whole video. Um, Number 9 in the Seafoam Green. Will not be in the Seafoam Green next year. Natasha Cloud. I think a really good to go big fish hunting for the Sparks would Kelsey Plum pick up the phone, call Natasha Cloud. You both played in Unrivaled, play for the Phantom. Call her and say, hey, we got a contract for you. You should come to LA. It's a really good team. We're gonna be good next year, because this is spoiling my other video, my next part of this video, this little mini series here. But the the Liberty cannot pay all four of their players. They cannot pay um, Sabrina, Brianna Stewart, Jonquel Jones, and Natasha Cloud without one of them taking a pay cut. And I don't feel like any of them are going to take a pay cut. They're all worthy of the money that they're going to get. So somebody's going to have to leave. And I think as much as you see on Natasha Cloud's Instagram and everything, she loves New York. New York loves her. Um, I think she's the one that could possibly go. If I had to pick one or two of them, it would probably be her or Jonquel Jones. And I think Jonquel Jones is an integral part of what they do. I think that, no offense, I think Natasha Cloud is very replaceable with another defensive minded guard. But where she would be valued is in Los Angeles, where Kelsey Plum, not the best defender, but has the intensity of a really good defender. Does get in a bit of foul trouble, but you bring Natasha Cloud in, something they're familiar with. They played all winter together and Unrivaled. You bring her in. What are my notes here? You bring her in. Um, I would overpay for her, um, even if it means I have to lose Hamby. Like if I had to between Cloud and Hamby, I'm picking Cloud. Because I have a surplus of forwards and bigs and everything. I don't necessarily need Hamby. I need a guard to help Kelsey Plum in the backcourt. And that guard would be Natasha Cloud. 4 year deal, team option on the fourth year. Um, I think she'd be a perfect fit for this Los Angeles Sparks team. And for me, if I'm a GM and I know you have a relationship with this person, I would encourage you, um, as a player, you know, GM to player to your friend that's another player, call your friend. Just ask them. Let's put our feelers out there, because you never know what a simple phone call could do, and you could get Natasha Cloud's a really good player. I have my problems with Natasha Cloud. I don't think she had a really great unrivaled season, but there were moments in there where you could see like, oh, she still got it. Like Natasha Cloud, 2019 WNBA champion. She's an assist champ. She's three-time All Defensive. She's been in winning situations with the Mercury. She's been in competitive situations with the Washington Mystics. She's been with the Liberty for only 1 year now. It'd be I know fans would um, Liberty fans would be sort of upset about this, but um, you can't pay all three of them unless somebody's going to take a pay cut. I don't think anybody's going to take a pay cut. Natasha Cloud coming off one of her really stellar years. She's since 2022 she's been a double digit scorer. This past year, 10 points a game, um, 5 assists, 1 steal a game, uh, almost 2 turnovers a game. That's down though from three in the previous year. Um, 3 rebounds, 50% from 2 point percentage, 50% from 2 point land, 33 from 3 point. That's one of that's is that her best year? Uh, yeah, that's her best year on the most attempts. Yeah, last year was her best shooting year by the amount taken and the percentage. Um, really good. And then 43% from field goal, her best of her career. Yeah, she's not taking a pay cut. She's coming off her best year, even though um, she played the least amount of minutes she had by like it's 29 versus 33, 32, 31, 31. Like she played more limited minutes, but she's coming off a great year. I would try to throw the bag at her. I really would. I think she would make this Sparks team really competitive in a what is going to be a more and more competitive league, with 12 players, with developmental players, and all that stuff. So I think that's one of my hotter takes, is the Sparks trying to get Cloud, but the relationship her and Kelsey have, she wants a bag. She wants to get paid. I I I would like to see it. And that leaves three developmental player slash draft spots on this Sparks team. They do have, let's see, what picks do they have this year? They have they have the 24th pick, and they have the 24th pick in the second round, and they have the 35th pick in the third round. Yeah, they have two draft picks, so they bring in two more draft players. They bring in a developmental player who's going to sit on the bench and develop. I think that's really good. And then move on to our last team here. This video is a little bit longer than I thought it'd be, but I'm happy to be here nonetheless. If you've made it this far, tell me what your favorite move of mine has been so far. Do you like my idea of Dejanay to the Aces, Stevens to the Aces? Do you like Natasha Cloud to the Sparks? Let me know down below. Moving on to the last team here, the Dallas Wings. Man, oh man, I thought this one would be really easy. And to be fair, it was kind of easy. But you look at the implications that the expansion draft will bring. Teams like this, like the Wings, are going to lose at least two really good young players. And that's a shame because you can only protect five players in the expansion draft, so they are going to lose some of their younger players. But I've gone through this with the hopeful thought that they're not going to lose the ones they really like. Being very wishful with that thinking, but the ones they really like, they're going to be able to keep. And a lot of these players are still in their old contract, which is really good for a GM, for Kurt Miller, the GM. And I don't have a lot of big moves for them. I have a lot of moves that would. Well, I have one big move, but the other ones are around the edges. I could see being more realistic. There's one that's staring at you in the Seattle jersey, number three, top right. Um, that I really like. Let's get into the players that are under contract and will be on this team next season, confirmed. Unless some of these other like rookie sophomore players are taken in the expansion draft. But again, this is all an experiment. This is all a thought experiment. Um, Paige Becker's obviously still under contract. Um, he's going to be a max, super max player coming up later this decade, but you don't have to worry about that for another couple years. So you have Paige Beckers on a discount essentially for the next couple years, which is great for roster movement and roster construction. You have Maddie Sigres, who had a really good season last season, still in their contract. You have Isaiah James, still in their contract. You have Grace Berger, still in their contract, or not still in the contract, but I would try to retain her. She's another young player, fair market value, uh, 4 year deal, team option on the fourth year. See what she still has because I saw some moments last year when I watched this Wings team where Grace Berger was very good. She was very good, um, and we'll see what she can do. Bringing back another player who's not still in the contract, but I want to bring her back. Haley Jones, fair market value, 4 year deal, team option on the fourth year. Keep both of those players. If you want to keep one, not keep the other by the fourth year, you have the ability to do that. Give them that long term security though, and let them grow. Let's see what they can do next to Paige and next to Maddie, and then I do have a roster spot saved on this list for the number one pick. So they do have to bring in the number one pick this year. The rest of this roster is going to be subject to who they take with that number one pick. Is it going to be a guard? Is it going to be a forward? Is it going to be Lauren Betts? Is it going to be Izzy Fudd? Is it going to be Awa Pham? Who knows? This roster is sort of really contingent on who they're going to take with that first pick. If I had it my way, that'd be a different story. But we don't know yet. So that leaves that's what six players on the team: Paige, Maddie, Isaiah, Grace, Haley Jones, and the number one pick. Now we get into the offseason acquisitions. And I'm just gonna come out and say it. I had this idea long ago, like when their season ended. I was trying to think of how they can make this roster better because this Dallas roster sucked last year. It was garbage, and they traded a lot of people at mid-season, and they got even worse. And that was the point to be bad, but because they were tanking. But um, yeah, this team needs to be more professional, and they've had a whole debacle with their training facility. It got delayed, and now they're back on track. They don't have priority in their own arena where they play. They got a fresh new head coach this year, and Fernandez. The, the, the number one pick is a point of contention. I don't know if it's a contention in the front office, but amongst fans, it's a point of contention. Um, I think with all these young players I've named, besides Maddie Segrest, who's a bit older, has some WNBA experience, you need to bring in a vet. You need to bring in somebody who knows what they're doing, who can be the adult in the room, and is a proven player, and who can lead this locker room. Not saying Paige is doing a terrible job, but bring somebody in who's been around the block. And the person I'm talking about is Nneka Ogwumike, um, Texas native. That's a big thing to me, is that she's a Texas native. Um, if Seattle goes in the direction that I think they should, and they should just go full rebuild, they don't need Nneka. Nneka's going to be a free agent. Well, she's going to be a free agent regardless, but her free agency options will open up. I would love to see the Texas native come back to Texas, go to Dallas, play with Paige Beckers, and bring this team some maturity. It's all fun. Hey, we're a young, fun team. We got two back-to-back number one picks. It's cool, right? It's fun. And then you're bad for another year, and you're like, why the hell? What are we doing? You skip that part. You got the two number one picks still. You got Paige, and you got this one coming in, and you bring in Nneka, who's a borderline MVP candidate, who knows how to play the game, will get people involved, will knock down shots, takes the load off Paige, and just does some great things for this team. If I look at her numbers right here, and Nneka's always low key been really good, and people. I won't say people, but the mass majority of people don't really look at her because she's been in some weird places in her career. She was with the Sparks for 12, almost 17 seasons, 12 seasons, and there were some very hit or miss years in there. Um, she's been a borderline MVP for a couple years now. She won the MVP in 2016, so a decade ago now. Um, Bring her in, let her and Paige coexist. Um, she's coming off an 18-point game season. Uh, let's see, one steal a game, two assists, 7 rebounds. You need a rebounder down there if you're going to take a guard in the draft. Um, 36% from three, 40% from three the year previous to that. So she's the uptick in threes is good. She took 4 last year. That's a career high for her. So if she can keep taking that many, that's really good. And her field goal was 51. Um, it's been trending downwards for her, but you have Paige down there passing her the ball, getting her open looks, feeding off each other. It will be good. That's probably my hottest one is Nneka to the Dallas Wings. I would absolutely love that for them. And now you spend all this money, you throw the bag at her, right? You give her as much money as she wants, 4-year deal, no strings attached, right? You got to fill out the rest of the roster a little bit because you still got a lot of these young players. The other one I want to bring in is Jordan Canada. I would do a little overpay for Jordan Canada. Get some attitude in this locker room. Get some attitude on the court from Jordan Canada. Get some defense in the backcourt as well to help Paige. Help some of these younger players learn from a really good defensive player in Jordan Canada. It'd be amazing for them to get her. A little overpay. Give her a 2-year deal. You're gonna need some of these contracts are gonna be a little smaller because you do have to free up some of this money. Um, for Paige when she does get that max, and then when that rookie that's kind of coming this year is going to get the hopefully get the max as well. So you're gonna be very top heavy in a couple years. So some of these role players you're gonna have to sign to shorter term deals so you can free up that money when that time comes. So Jordan Kennedy, a 2-year deal. Bring some attitude to this team. I'm not saying this Dallas Wings team needs attitude because they're so young and they don't even have an identity yet. But you bring in Jordan Canada, who will give you an identity. You bring in Nneka, who will be the adult in the locker room. Those are the two really big ones. Um, the other one I want to bring in here is Stephanie Dolson. I hope, this is my hope, she take a little pay cut to play with our Husky alumni in Paige Beckers. Could possibly be the starting center as well if things shake out a certain way. I'm not sure if she's a starting center anymore, but you kind of hide her. I won't say hide her, but you kind of pair her with Nneka and Paige and Maddie, and y- y- she doesn't have to have that much pressure on her defensively, and they're not going to get funneled to the basket. She's just going to be the last line of defense sort of thing. Um, I didn't even have years on this contract because it is so up in the air. Um, they already do have Lee Yaru, um, who I guess Stephanie Dolson and Lee Yaru are I don't want to say similar, but you either take one, you don't take both. Um, Lee Rue isn't going to be a third string center. Her time in Seattle wasn't good because she wasn't the starting center. She didn't really. If she was the starting center, she didn't get the look she wanted. So Lee doesn't want to be a backup to a backup, you know? So you would kindly let her go and bring in Steph Dolson, or the other way around. If Steph Dolson doesn't want to come, you keep Lee. Um, the last player I want to bring in here, um, just as roster filler, a shooter, soak up some minutes from players that are lost in the expansion draft. Just on a 1 year deal, come here, play with Paige. You'll be the most wide open you've ever been in your career. Let's get Rachel Banahan up in Dallas and bring in another shooter. I'll use shooter in quotations, shooter, um, just to fill out the roster. And then that leaves one spot, one or two spots on this roster for a draft slash um, developmental player. If I go look at the draft here, the Dallas Wings have the first pick, obviously, and they do not have another pick in the first or second round. They do have the first pick of the third round, the 31st pick. So that does leave room for that one pick. Whether they use it or not, who knows? Um, But yeah, that is my dream off season for some WNBA teams. This is part one of this mini series. I did not know it would take 50 minutes, but here we are. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, some of these were crazy, some of these were wild. Again, this is dream off season. I try to make it a little realistic. I feel like some of my role players are a bit more realistic, obviously, than like Dejanay Carrington to the Aces. I don't know if she wants to get paid. I don't know what any of these players feel, man. Um, I'm just going off. I'm going off vibes, really. But we'll know more. Maybe I'll do this again after the expansion drafts when we have a little more clear of a picture, or maybe I'll just wait until we have the rosters and I'll grade them. Who knows? There will be a lot more WNBA content though. Let me know what uh, your favorite prediction or favorite player that I mentioned is. Do you like Dejanay to the Aces? Do you like Nneka to the Dallas Wings? Do you like Natasha Cloud to the Sparks? Am I crazy? Is this all just me talking crazy and I put too much time into this? Maybe that is true. The outro should be playing right now. Check out the video on the left hand side of your screen. I don't know what it is. It's probably a really good video. Just click it, watch another video, like this one. Um, on the right will probably be it'll be my women's hoops playlist. How about that? We'll change it up. It's the women's hoop playlist. Check out my thoughts from last year. Check out my unrivaled stuff. Check out yeah. Check out the playlist. And then in the middle of your screen right now, you see the little icon, probably right where Cam Brink is, probably where Chelsea Gray is, right between there. Um, is my channel icon. If you click on that, it will pop up a subscribe button, and you can easily hit subscribe. So yeah, like, comment, do all that good stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers.